Hey guys, what is going on? It's your boy Yak here, and if you're a subscriber to me, this is going to be a little bit different of a video, but I always do the Easter eggs every time they have a solo Easter egg for any Call of Duty Zombies map. So basically I went ahead and did the Easter egg on this one, but this time I decided to record it. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little solo guide and just kind of put it out there for anyone who wants to do it. So anyways, if you don't play this game at all and you just want to enjoy the video, awesome. But if you're also trying to learn how to do the Easter egg on Alpha Omega on solo, then this is a great guide on how to do it. So anyways, let's get straight into the video. So this is my loadout that I used during this Easter egg. As you can see, these are the elixirs that I chose. I find the top 3 actually very helpful and you're not using up anything, and the bottom one you're definitely going to need later in the egg. And you can also see my perks listed there, but actually looking back, I'd recommend not using Electric Burst. I found myself not using any reload at all because I chose the RAYGUN Mark II V. So go ahead and switch that out to any other perk of your choosing. Then for your weapons, I strongly recommend the Ragnarok DG5s, the Wraithfire, and the Strife, only if you have the Silhouette knife with it. So without killing off too many zombies and skipping through too many rounds, try and make your way down into the generators. So start up the lockdown and complete it just like you usually would. So now you're obviously going to want to repair all the vents just like a normal game would be to get to the Pack-a-Punch. So once you cleared up all the vents, go ahead and flip the round, and then you'll hear Rushmore talk for a little bit. Then after he's done talking, go ahead and access his little code entry. So now we're going to be looking for 4 codes. Here's the first one we want, which is a Sawyer Code. Now you're going to go right below that into the control room and knife this stack of papers right on top of another paper for the Mccain Code. Now on your way out to go upstairs, go ahead and grab this key out of this little box. You're going to go upstairs in the yellow house and open up this little cabinet, and you'll go ahead and get the Purnell Code. So now go ahead and go up to the entry station and put in 7626. Then you'll have a minute to enter the rest of the 3 codes. You're going to enter them in the same way that we found them. So that'll be the Sawyer Code, Mccain Code, then finish with the Purnell Code. Also take note that you'll have a minute to enter a new code after you enter the first one before it resets. So I recommend waiting till the end of a round to enter these codes so you can have a couple slow zombies and do this without getting attacked. Basically what these codes do is unlock this little door in the storage unit. You'll be able to use this guy as a helper, but we won't be using him until later. So now you're going to want to save enough money to buy the debris from this truck in the middle of the map and go ahead and buy the galvanocles. So now you're going to want to go down into the bunker where there will be a couple TVs in separate locations. I pointed out 3 here, but there's actually 4. One of them would be in the lounge, which is the one I didn't locate, but there's 2 in the beds right there. As you can see, one of them had static on it, so that's the kind of TV you're going to be looking for. So for this part, I went ahead and turned on the subtitles in the audio section on the settings. This helps out tremendously as it's going to list off 5 different times, and you're going to have to note them down and remember their order. So once you found the staticky TV, you're going to want to bring a zombie right up to it and then hit it with the galvanocles and kill it right in front of it. The TV will then instantly read off one of the codes, followed by another, until they read up to 5 of the codes. So hopefully after they read each code, you could write them down in your notes, and if not, and you happen to miss something or you just wanted to go back and check, then you could always go up to it and hold in X after it reads off all the codes, and it'll reread all of them. Now this is where things begin to get a little confusing. Each of the 6 buildings upstairs have a letter outside of their house on a mailbox that'll basically describe which building they are. All except the very last one, which is the one with the pyramid inside of it. We'll just describe that one as F, even though it doesn't label it that way. So my first code in the bunker on the TV read E1045. This code basically means building E at 1045. So now I go to the house that has E. Then within that house there is actually a clock upstairs, so you're going to want to go up to that clock and then change the time to 1045. Each time you interact with the clock, it's going to move 15 minutes forward. So make sure you don't miss the next time because you're going to have to go all the way back around, and it's very frustrating. So for a second example, my second code read B0600. So in translation, that means building B at 6 o'clock. So now once you entered all the times in all 5 buildings that you were given for a code, go ahead and go to the building that wasn't listed for you, which in my case was building A. Now all you're going to want to do is find the clock in there and hold in X, and it'll just spin continuously and set its own time. Once the arrow stops, record that time and run back and enter the code. Rushmore will then deny your code and say that he doesn't trust you still, but it's still okay, you did the right thing. Now at this point you need to go interact with Rushmore like you should have this whole video. I kind of forgot to remind you guys, but anyways, now once you've interacted with Rushmore, you're going to run downstairs into the bunker and look for a red Nova Gas crawler. Now once you find this particular crawler, you're going to want to stay super close and not kill it, and just lead it all the way upstairs into the transfusions facility. One thing to note, there will be a huge wave of zombies coming at you while you're trying to escort it. Once it gets into the room, bring it over to this little barrier, and it's going to go ahead and crawl through it. Immediately after, Rushmore will go on saying how he's going to turn its brain into a milkshake. I don't know why, but then that'll be a closing to this step. So at this point, if you're playing as Nikolai, he's going to explain what we're all thinking. So again, interact with the Rushmore code like you have been this whole time, right? So now we're going to get into one of my favorite steps, and it's going to include the character Marlton. So go down through the bunker behind the greenhouse and knife this door on your way down, and you'll hear Marlton speak out that he's hiding and he doesn't want anyone to come in there or whatever. So now comes a time when we're going to go ahead and activate the Atom robot, which is what we said in all those codes from the very beginning for. The first time you activate it, it's free. The rest is actually pretty pricey, so make sure you get it on this turn. So right after you activate them, run back through generators, quickly through beds, then right back into the diner, and go up the steps into where Marlton was, and the robot's going to speak out and basically scare Marlton, and he's going to throw out the 115 case for you. You're then going to take that case and store it on the shelf in the transfusions facility. So now you're going to want to have the telepads built and basically put it on this little pedestal out here by the prison holding, and in the cul-de-sac powerhouse you're going to place it, but don't go through it right away like I did. That was an accident. And again, activate Rushmore. So now you're going to want to get an electric Nova gas crawler to hit that little panel right there. As you can see, he just shot that right past me and it missed me and hit it, and it opened up just like that. Once it opens, you're going to hold X, go through the teleporter, and run all the way past Rushmore and hold X on this panel. But just like how I did it, I went way too slow. If you don't have stamina, just use your specialist weapon once you activate it so you have a little bit of a speed boost all the way through it, and you should get there in no time. At this point, you'll unfortunately have to get the turn tonic on your gun and activate it next to 3 different pictures. You can see that was the first one right there, and it'll reveal a number under it. Once the zombie rips that picture off the wall, go ahead and memorize that number. The second location will be in the lounge, and the third is in the greenhouse upstairs. If you have trouble getting these pictures, just look for the green mist behind the photos on the wall, and that's where they will be located at. Now go ahead and enter all those codes in the order that you found them, and just like the beginning, it's going to have a 1-minute window between each code, so hurry up and get those codes in. Now go ahead and interact with Rushmore once again, and he'll go on to tell you need a dog, a blender, and George Washington's dentures. Then he'll shortly be interrupted, thank goodness, and we will then be informed that the power inside of the whole place will be going down. So now it's our duty to make sure it comes back on. There will be 6 panels located in the bunker area, and the first one will be in the diner. You're going to make sure the switch is flipped up, and if any of these are already in that location, then you can just leave them be. Now this next panel will be just outside of that room in the beds area. You're going to make sure that flip is up as well. You'll find the third panel just inside the lounge over to the left, and you're going to make sure that switch is down. Now just inside the generators, you're going to go across from the Bowie knife, and you'll find another panel. Make sure that one is up. Now make your way to storage, and just across from the Atom unit, you'll find yet another panel. Make sure that one is down. Now I didn't even have to check to see this one because all the lights were green, and it basically said the power's back on, but make sure this one's down. This one's just in the solitary. Now after all the lights are green and it's been confirmed, you can go ahead and make it back up to the power switch and go ahead and flip it back on. So at this point, Rushmore is very satisfied with your work and is excited to see that you're on the good side, whatever, blah blah blah. He then goes on to explain that some of the Atom units have some life in them and you need to free their spirits. Here's a very realistic and relatable reaction from Nikolai.
I need to work on my English because that made no sense at all.
So now there will be 3 mannequins that were never there before standing there, and they kind of have like an electric and misty look on their heads. These can be found upstairs behind the green, yellow, and even brown house, and I think they're scattered in almost all of the sections down below. But again, there will only be 3 of these in any of those locations, so you just need to find them. Only one will be lit up at a time, and you just basically survive through the lockdown, kill all the zombies, and you'll be good to go. A major strategy for this is to save up your specialist weapon before you start, and then try and survive as long as you can until you need to pull it out. Some of these areas are ridiculously hard to survive without them, so this is a must-have situation. But between lockdowns, when you're going to charge up your specialist weapon, I recommend you find all the fuzzy TVs and charge them all the way up. You're definitely going to want a upgraded Raygun Mark II, and if you don't know how to get one of those, there's plenty of videos out there. I highly recommend getting the Raygun Mark II V as it has unlimited ammo and it'll help out so much during the boss fight. Now after all the robot lockdowns, there should have been 2 arms and a head that fell off the mannequins afterwards. Pick those all up and then place them on this body next to the pyramid. The mannequin will kind of have a life inside him like he said earlier, and there'll be a little bit of lore. You can kind of listen to it on your own. You'll then need to release his spirit or whatever, I don't really know, but you'll see there's this little blue ball after you interact with that mannequin that'll appear in a barricade downstairs. Now you're going to have to stay super close to this and a huge horde of zombies will come after you, and unfortunately he takes the longest time to make it up there, but you're just going to have to bear with it. Now this is very challenging, so kind of try your best to stay away, and as you can see I get down right here and I actually fail this. But thankfully it appeared in the same exact spot and all I had to do was walk up right next to it again and escort it, only a little better this time. So after your little tour around the map, the ball will finally meet up with the mannequin and quote unquote release his spirit. Finally, you'll speak with Rushmore one last time, then run downstairs as he informs you that you've unlocked the boss round. So before you start this off, key points, make sure you have a full shield unlike I did, that affected me tremendously. Also be sure to have a ray gun ready. You can go ahead and start this fight whenever you want now, so you have all the time in the world at this point. Now once you feel like you're all ready and Rushmore finally stops talking, you can interact with this panel right here and get started. Now once you have started, tons and tons of add-on units are going to begin running at you. They're essentially zombies just in the form of a mannequin. You're going to want to kill them right next to this generator and you'll see their little souls fly into it to fill it up. Now eventually the mannequins will stop coming and then you'll hear the door creaking, and then this is when the boss fight really begins. At this point you're going to hear a bunch of alarms and the computer system is going to be talking, saying that there's like a lockdown and it's not a drill or whatever. This is basically a nuke going off in the town above, and you'll see the huge explosion. You'll see a bunch of fire and explosions and everything going on underground. The boss then goes on to explain basically his backstory, blah blah blah, a bunch of bittersweet stuff. He also explains that any type of weapon is barely registered as a bleep on him, which is nice. He then goes on and gives himself this really awesome name, Avocado? I don't know. Then the boss does an epic stunt down the stairs, and then you'll come back here to these little TVs, and it'll read in order the best route to take here. Basically what I mean by this is there's going to be 4 more generators in several different areas throughout the whole entire bunkers, and you're going to have to fill them up once again. So if you take it slow and space yourself away from the avocado, this is actually a pretty easy boss fight. Off the bat, you'll come to realize that this boss is really slow, and he really can't affect you as long as you're on the other side of the room. You can still fill up these generators by killing zombies across the whole entire place, so it really doesn't matter. Now this boss can deal quite the punch when he gets close to you. So make sure to stay across the room and don't go anywhere near him, and try your best to keep him away from the generators, as he can basically stop the process and you gotta wait for it to boot back up. He does have one attack that'll basically throw you off. It basically paralyzes you and takes your gun away for a second. It's really not too effective, but it does deal some damage, but as long as you just keep running, it shouldn't really affect you that much. But one attack to stay clear of is when you hear your character say a quote about him charging or something like that. Just run. So anyways, keep your distance, keep them away from the generator, and just kill as many zombies as quick as you can, and try not to use your specialist as soon as possible. Try to save it a little bit. Also, once you've cleared one room, get out of there right away. He's going to shock the whole entire room. It'll mess you up if you stand in there. And throughout the rest of this process, that same room will be shocked for the whole entire time. Now that you are finished and you've filled up all the generators, you're going to go ahead and make your way back without going through any of those rooms and getting shocked. Now once you're back to the pyramid, this is why I recommended you use the elixir for undead man walking. This helps out so much and keeps all the zombies out of the way, and basically is a guaranteed win right here. If you don't have it, no sweat, just be super careful here. So now you're going to take a couple moments and wait for the avocado to get here. Then once he gets here, you got to use your galvan knuckles and actually punch him, and it'll basically stun him. Once he's stunned, you're then just going to unleash fire at him and just basically push him all the way back towards the opening that he came out of the temple. Once he finally reaches there, you'll see him get sucked up and you'll get pulled into there, and after a little bit of dialogue, you've done the Easter egg. So just to wrap it up, go over to the little activation station that you started this whole thing off with and activate that, and there you go. So anyways, that's basically wrapping up the whole entire Easter egg. I'll post the whole boss fight separate from this because I feel like it was a really cool thing to kind of interact with, and I think it would be enjoyable for people to watch. So anyways, this is kind of something different. I might do this a little bit more. I love doing these Easter eggs and stuff like that, especially solo. But anyways, guys, I really appreciate you guys making it this far. I really hope you guys liked my breakdown, even though this map is a little bit old. I play on Xbox, so it's kind of new still. But either way, thanks for watching. Be sure to share your thoughts with me, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.